Hey there, fight fans. My name is Brian Nichols, and I am pumped for this inaugural ESPN UFC event we have going on this weekend. We have Henry Cejudo defending his new flyweight title for the first time after beating the GOAT, Mighty Mouse, against the bantamweight champion, TJ Dillashaw. Again, my name is Brian Nichols. Thanks for watching my video. If you like what you see with this video, hit the thumbs up button. If you'd like to see future content on my channel, you could hit the subscribe button as well. If you don't like what you see, let me know in the comments down below so I can better my content on this channel. So with that, let's move on to the preview for this banger of a fight card. Alright, so let's start this preview. How I'm going to do this is I'm going to go over the main card, top to bottom. I'm going to talk about some information that I found in my research and things that I wanted to talk about for each fight and fighter on the main card, but I also have some notables to talk about on the prelims and early prelims. So without further ado, let's look at the main card. So as we all know, we have Henry Cejudo defending his flyweight title against TJ Dillashaw. Some of the things I wanted to mention here was, originally I wanted to see Mighty Mouse against TJ, but I feel like this could be even better. This could be even a better fight than we may have imagined for between Mighty Mouse and TJ. I like what they're trying to do with the storyline where Henry's coming out and saying, hey, don't close our division, and TJ's like, hey, the UFC is just telling me, hey, come help us out, give us a reason to clear out this division. So I'm excited to see this fight. Obviously TJ is moving down in weight, and he looks like he did it flawlessly. He didn't look all that great in the scale, but he did it. He made the championship weight. So I can't wait for it. And I'm also excited to see what game plans they use. I know Henry, his striking when he first came to the UFC didn't look good at all, in my opinion. And I mean, even TJ's wasn't that great when he came in, but I feel like TJ's striking has gotten way better, but I've seen Henry's striking get much better as well. So in that Mighty Mouse fight, he was doing great even against Mighty Mouse. So I think TJ is going to be able to edge him out with striking, but we have the wrestling factor. They're both wrestlers, but of course Henry has his gold with the Olympics. So I'm interested to seeing what the game plan is here for both men. So I'm really excited to see how this fight goes. If Henry beats TJ, is that a closed case? Is the UFC gonna keep the division around? Because there's other fighters that Henry could definitely start work on beating, and maybe even beat Mighty Mouse's record. Who knows? Or is it gonna be a closed case if TJ beats Henry? Are they gonna close the division and be done with it? Who knows? So I feel like a lot is on the line with this fight, and I'm really excited to see how it goes down and the aftermath as well. So that's our main event. Going down to the co-main, we have Greg Hardy versus Alan Crowder for in the heavyweight division. I don't really have much to say here. Everybody and their mother knows about Greg Hardy and him being with the NFL and his other issues outside of the cage. And in my opinion, either fighter, Greg or Alan, I don't think either fighter really deserves, even experience-wise, to be in a co-main slot in the UFC. Not only that, on the inaugural ESPN card, but of course, with all the outside influence that Greg Hardy has from the NFL and everything like that, I feel like that's why this got put in that spot. Now, with Alan Crowder, I feel like he has a lot more experience than Greg Hardy. I think he has. He's definitely gonna be the toughest matchup for Greg. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. So with Alan, this would be his second fight in the UFC. His first fight was a loss. I think it was a decision, and but he came to the UFC because of Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series, and if I remember correctly, his fight there was ended via some elbows, ground and pound elbows. So it was a good fight. So other than that, really for me, not much to say on that fight. But you know, we'll see how he goes. It's heavyweights. You can almost usually know how those are going to go. So moving on, we have the next fight, Gregor Gillespie versus Yancy Medeiros. This is at a lightweight bout. Now, some of the things I wanted to mention here. Number one, this should be a great fight. If you guys have not seen either Gregor or Yancy's fights, I recommend going and watching them. They're all scraps. Gregor, currently 12-0. He's unbeaten. His record in the UFC is 5-0. And 4 of those were finishes, only 1 decision. So, but looking at his competition, and I can actually bring up his card here. His competition in the UFC, these fights here, definitely are nowhere near the experience Yancy Medeiros has. So Yancy is definitely a huge step up for Gregor. Now, over to Yancy, this is actually Yancy's first fight back down to middleweight. Now, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Yancy's been all over the place. He's fought at light heavyweight, middleweight, welterweight, and lightweight. So this is him moving back down to lightweight. Yancy's last fight in lightweight was actually against Francis Trinaldo back in, I think it was, I have it here in my notes, May 14th, 2016. So what's that? 2 years and change. He hasn't fought in lightweight since then. So, and when I looked back at Yancy's record, some of the notable names he fought back in lightweight, like he's fought John McDessie, Dustin Poirier, Jim Miller, Eve Edwards, and he actually had a fight. It was canceled, but he did have a fight scheduled. Tony Ferguson, that crazy mofo. So I'm interested to see how Yancy's going to do back down at lightweight. I also looked at his last fight. He had 4 fights in welterweight since moving up from lightweight, and his 4 fights, he was 3-1. I mean, it's not that bad a record. I'm not 100% sure why he's moving back down to lightweight, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see what he can do down there. So that should be definitely a great fight. So I'm excited for that. Next, we have Joey B taking on a flyweight fight against Dustin Ortiz. I'm excited for this one as well. I'm a big fan of Joseph Benavidez, and he's only lost fights against the greats. He's only lost 5 fights, 2 of them against Dominic Cruz, 2 of them against Mighty Mouse, and 1 against Sergio Pettis. So, what can you say about Joey? I feel like is this just going to be another win on his awesome record for Joey B, or is Dustin going to overcome and get and be on that list of greats that have beaten Joey B? Now Dustin, he's looking good as well. Out of his last 3 fights, he's 3-0 at flyweight, and out of those 3, 2 of them were knockouts, 1 a decision. So he's definitely doing good things now. And then one other thing I wanted to mention, and I didn't even remember this, but they actually fought previously. And their first fight was back in November 2014. So 4 years since they first fought. So they definitely probably have grown, changed. So it's going to be interesting to see how their first fight compared to this fight is going to go. And then one other thing I wanted to mention was, this is a flyweight bout, and we also had obviously the main event being for the flyweight belt. In my opinion, for this fight, and even think about it, they're lined up. These fights are both on the same card. I feel like whoever wins between Joey B and Dustin Ortiz could easily get the next shot at the flyweight belt, assuming the UFC keeps the division round. Because think about it, if Henry Cejudo defeats TJ Dillashaw, Joey B already has a win against Henry Cejudo, so he could easily get another shot at the title, against a guy that he's already beaten. Whereas Dustin Ortiz, this would be a completely fresh matchup for Henry Cejudo. Beating Joey B, basically just the greats have beat him, and Henry hasn't. So that's easily a way for Dustin to move right up and get a title shot. So, but unless, of course, TJ wins and they close division, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen there? But great matchup. I'm excited to see how that goes. And then moving down, we have Paige Vanzant and Rachel Ostovich. This is a flyweight bout. And some of the things I want to mention here, Paige Vanzant, this is her second fight at flyweight. Her first fight was almost exactly a year ago from this fight. And this was that fight that she lost by decision. She went to a decision with a broken arm. So, tough chick. So, she's fighting Rachel. And Rachel, what I wanted to mention here for Rachel, because, of course, a lot of people know about some of the things that are going on with her outside the cage. And I feel like this win would be such a huge win for her. Not only because of the things going on outside the cage, but in the cage. If you look at her record, she's actually even. She is 4-4, which doesn't look all that great. She's kind of like a win-loss, 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 and I feel like this win would help with everything. It would help push a great message because of her things outside the cage. It would help get her out of the even win-loss record, and also you get a feather in the hat of beating a big name in Paige Vanzant. So. This is a huge fight for Rachel. Hopefully, it's a great fight. They both scrap, so I'm excited for that fight. And then the last fight on the card is Glover Teixeira versus Carl Robertson. After looking at some research here, I found out, and I didn't know this, but this is actually a short notice fight for Carl. He actually fights at middleweight. And that's why I started looking into it. I was like, I swear Carl was a middleweight. But yeah, he's moving up on short notice to light heavyweight to fight Glover Teixeira. So props to Carl. I'm interested to see how Glover does. Of course, his last fight, he lost against Corey Anderson. And I think that went to decision. So we'll see how this fight goes. Hopefully Carl isn't completely isn't undersized. We'll see how big he looks in the cage next to Glover. But I'm interested in seeing how this fight goes as well, so especially for Glover. All right, so that's the main card. So some of the notables I wanted to mention on the prelims, during prelims. First thing I want to mention here on the prelims is here we have Alexander Hernandez taking on Cowboy Donald Cerrone in a lightweight bout. So Cowboy, this is his first fight back to lightweight. He's been fighting at welterweight for a little while now. And Cowboy's last fight at lightweight was actually his loss to RDA in the lightweight title fight. So pretty interesting there. And that title fight, per my notes here, was actually December 19th, 2015. So over 3 years ago since he's been a lightweight. So I'm excited. See how Cowboy looks back at lightweight. Hopefully he can get back on the bike there and do good things. But hey, for Alexander Hernandez, he could get a big win over Cowboy and just keep moving on up that ladder. The next notable I want to talk about was the next fight, or actually the fight right before that, which is going to be Joanne Calderwood versus Ariane Lipsky. Now, some of you may or may not know, but Ariane this is actually her debut fight in the UFC. She is coming over from the Polish MMA promotion KSW, and she was actually their flyweight champion over there. I want to say she defended it, I want to say maybe twice, but her nickname is being the Violence Queen. I'm super excited to see what she can do in the UFC. She looks super confident. I was watching some videos earlier today of some of the media talking with her, and she seemed pretty confident, so I'm excited to see how this fight goes. And then I think the last notable I want to talk about was on the early prelims. We have Dennis Bermudez on the early prelims, and this is a lightweight bout against T. Edwards. Now, what I wanted to mention here is Dennis, I don't know if you can remember or not, but he normally fights at featherweight. This is Dennis actually moving up to lightweight after going 0-4 in his last 4 fights in featherweight, which sucks, but must be just wanting to switch things up, move up to lightweight and see how that goes. I feel like Dennis might be a little undersized at lightweight. When I was looking at his record in his previous fights, he actually has fought in lightweight, but that was back in 2010, September 2010, in a promotion called Shine Fights. So he's fought at lightweight, so we'll see how that goes, but in my opinion, I feel like he might be a little undersized, but we'll see. So I'm excited to see how he does back at lightweight about 9 years later. So So with that, that was all the notables I wanted to talk about and bring up on this MMA event preview. I'm really excited for the card. I'm looking forward to watching it Saturday night. I hope you all are as well. So thanks again for watching. Again, my name is Brian Nichols. If you do like the video, again, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see future content, hit that subscribe button. And then, of course, if you don't like it or if you want to comment and discuss some things, let me know down in the comments below. But with that, have a great weekend and enjoy the fights.